Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Ted Turner. Success leaves clues, kids. I just named 5 of the greatest names in business in the last 150 years. And they all have one thing in common. They're ball busters. They're hard as nails. Where does that leave you? I still work 50, 60 hours a week. And I haven't had to work in 35 years. You're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to sacrifice anything to be a high-performance person.
I don't want to be like Dad.
No, most people don't.
I want to be liked.
Yeah, well, see, you want to fit in. I'm the only speaker that you're ever going to hear that really, with all his heart, doesn't give a shit. If I leave here you liking me, I did something wrong.
They see 30 seconds. They didn't see 10,000 hours.
Anyone can sail on smooth waters. Anyone can dance when the music is playing.
So is it just a run in the rain? You tell me.
Remind yourself of what that door opening is going to feel like.
So I have dreams. Compulsions to be legendary, evolving from the imaginary, and it's near and it's real, I can see. In due time we realize that real life is defined by our own eyes. And I have blueprints to the skyline, it's just reality is built methodically, and overnight success you would never guess takes a long time. You have to cut lifelines and navigate landmines, but it's your move on your cue, just decide. So I sat there, thought about it. How long am I gonna go on about it? Put my shoes on, I said so long and went outside. Right through the field I used to run by, where the rows of sunflowers waist high, but it was different than what I envisioned. There weren't any road signs or guidelines or letters that said it's all just fine. It was just me adjusting as I made my way to the sunrise. Then I paused. On the ground below me was a little door. I knocked slowly, was pretty scared, maybe ill-prepared, but we get one life only. So I opened the hatch, looked down, and it's pitch black, no sound. And if you don't choose any road will do. I've been riding logistical merry-go-rounds and my eyes are wide. Restless soul with scores to settle from years ago. I know that there's more cause I told me so. I'm going down the rabbit hole and there's not a way out. The chips fall, I'm all in. Now my prospects are in lockstep and each step is a shakedown. I got a coat of armor, sword of steel, call to arms cause the threat's real. And see, crowns are made on battlefields, so your majesty know I will never kneel. Time to face fear, right front center. Watch clouds fall like it's November. Got a treasure map in my backpack, it says life's golden. What a pleasure. Been round and round and free falling now, cause there's ghost schools and there's goblins out there. You're leaving us, they call me treasonous. Think that you're dangerous, you must be delirious. Just in the guns fire and the trumpets start and the ground trembles from the steady march. And it looks bad cause their deck's stacked, but my king beats a queen of hearts. They're trying to win in spades, so I set fires with the kind of flames that forge empires. And like a hurricane, but I'm a tad insane. Cat 5, Cheshire. Right around we go, the next episode under the second story. So look out below, collect haters' tears that makes a steady flow. And the greatest fears, I told you so. I know it though, there's no impossible. You can watch it pass, you can watch it grow. Be more powerful than you will ever know. I'm going down the rabbit hole. Look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty. Miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion. They're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers. While I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping. And bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving. And life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level, taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could've run away, could've avoided the thorns, could've been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, cause when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well.
Getting your business funded is a lengthy process with the banks, and it can take weeks before getting an answer. ProfitFX works with the best in the finance industry to bring you an unrivaled business funding solution for South African businesses. Our funding partners have funded millions in the last year in support of growing your business and our economy. Get in touch with your talk show host to request more information. A trade history of 3 years or more and an annual turnover of 1 million rand or more is required. Terms and conditions apply.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Opson, and we're doing actually today, it will be actually a heavy day today with tradings, especially for traders, with the OPEC meeting and also the Federal Reserve Chair. They will address the media later today at around 8 o'clock South African time. Now, it will be a bit touch and go for the Federal Reserve. It's actually a bit confused because it's very hard to project what he will talk about tonight. But I will first do the Federal Reserve and then later on the OPEC meeting, which will affect commodities, especially the oil and obviously gold and other commodities, because once one commodity goes up, then normally the others also go up. And that includes also the commodity currencies, which is now the Canadian, the New Zealand dollar, and also South African rand. And that normally affects that as well. And obviously, safe havens normally goes down, which is actually the US dollar, the Japanese yen, and also the Swiss franc. So I will do the OPEC meeting later on because there's also some serious factors that we need to take in consideration. But the whole thing is also the vaccines that is a bit of a, I would not say a problem, but it can put actually the market into hot and cold, because there's also the sharp rise of the resurgence, I would say, of the COVID cases in the Northern Hemisphere. And then you have a vaccine that will maybe come in December or January. They will start the distribution. And then also there's a story about the 95% 95% vaccine that was yesterday, as they call it, the Trump vaccine, that has a 95% of preventing you from contracting COVID. Now also you have the other vaccine that came out also earlier this week, or I think it was last week, where they said there's a 90% chance where you don't have to, that you will not get COVID-19. Now, the thing is with this whole entire vaccines, it just doesn't add up. Nothing at all adds up. I don't know that you guys notice it, but if there's a 90% chance that you will not contract the virus, so the possibility is there that you will still contract the virus. But the whole thing is that the treatments across the world, even a treatment in South Africa, which we have a treatment of 95%, 92% success rate. And then you go to the European countries, and look, South Africa is a third world country, and we have a 92% success rate. And then you go to your first world countries, United States and other areas, where there is a treatment that is basically 98% successful. So the treatment is then actually better than the vaccine. Now, funny enough, this doesn't make any difference on media, because I don't know that they pick it up or what. But I mean, if they say the vaccine is 95% of you not contracting the virus, then it's much better than to contract the virus and get the treatment, because the chances that you will die from the treatment is basically zero. And so obviously there's age that goes into this whole category. But what do you have to fear from if the vaccine is 95% and the treatment is 98%? Look, normal flu, you still die of normal flu. Like in South Africa, we average about 20 to 30,000 people that pass away of normal seasonal flu. And there is vaccines available. So the whole thing is that I don't understand the whole entire vaccine story, but on the market is a different story. Now on the market there is a sharp rise of optimism, I can say, especially if you look at the Dow Jones yesterday, when the Trump vaccine of 95% success rate came out yesterday. The Dow Jones was hitting its all-time high, and it was reaching, I think it was reaching close to about 30,000 when Trump was tweeting about it. And then also you have the S&P 500, obviously that gained due to the inclusion now of Tesla into the S&P 500. Also the VIX went down. But the whole thing is there's some optimism of the vaccine. And the market is actually quite bullish due to this 95% Trump vaccine, I would say. Now, also the commodities went up yesterday. As I said, it also to do with the Asian agreement that was actually done yesterday. But now it comes to the point of what will Jerome Powell say, or what will he talk about later today. Now, normally I can actually project what will he talk about? Maybe if the economic data, because he is data dependent, that is what we all know. So he'll look at employment, he looks at spending, inflation, and then normally you have an idea of what will he talk about of inflation expectations. So then you have an idea at least of what he will talk about. Will we see a bullish reaction of what he will say tonight, or will we see a negative reaction of what we'll talk about tonight? So that we normally can project from the economic calendar, and then you have an idea of what he will say tonight. But the story of tonight will be a bit hot and cold because there's certain things that we need to look at. We need to look at the optimism of the vaccine, and then also you have to look at the bond markets that were quite bullish for the last week or so. Due to the vaccine, and also with the fake win of Joe Biden, and that is where the bond yields actually went up. So it's quite good. So it shows there's some optimism, and that is what the Federal Reserve actually wanted at the end of the day, for the yields to go up. Now also, we are not sure about the stimulus package, because that is what Federal Reserve Chair wanted at the end of the day, is this stimulus package that can come through so that he can actually get to his 2% inflation mandate. On the other side, we experience about of a deflation scenario in the United States. I would not say a deflation in such as where the inflation goes to zero, but there's a slight reduction in inflation in the United States. Now, everybody's pointing the finger to the stimulus package. Because of the stimulus package that is not there, that's why we're seeing a deflation scenario. Well, it's basically common sense to get deflation when you have such high unemployment in the first instance. So normally with a big loss in job numbers, then normally you get deflation. So the thing is, to project what he will say tonight will be quite difficult. But I have an idea of what he will talk about last night, and will he be bullish or dovish tonight. But that is actually will be quite a complex story, but it will be actually very important for us, because obviously as a trader, you want to have an idea of what you can expect tonight. Can you leave your trades open, or must you close your trades and take some profit? Or do you maybe leave your trades open until the next day and see what is going on? But the main thing is, you must have an idea at least of what is your plan for tonight, because I think there will be some heavy movements tonight, because Jerome Powell will be talking tonight. So I will just take a short break, and then I'll be back to you with some information of what we can expect tonight, and I think I will be on the money tonight. I'll just take a short break. We'll be back with you.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. Capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.
Look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty. Miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion. They're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers while I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? 'Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping, and bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving, and life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level, taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could've run away, could've avoided the thorns, could've been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, because when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well. You did it. Use lifelines, you're topped off for a lifetime. So drop all those one-liners, we'll get them next time. No, this time is your time, and whatever you decide will end up being real life. No stop signs, just storylines. This whole thing is a misunderstanding, a miscalculation. Jumped and missed the landing. I'm mystified, I can waste so much time. These ovations are strictly imagination, not standing. So much for planning, guess fate left without me. Those failure statistics, yeah, they'll be about me. Was overly optimistic, forgot the logistics. Guess we all learn sometime, don't we? Good is not good enough, no. How long do I stay down before I let go? I buried my pride and took it inside, but never enough. It takes a toll, it gets old getting told you've got miles of road left to go. You're alone with this future unknown. Just go home. Just go home, it's safe there. Yeah, I'll find some embrace there. Look, it's time to admit defeat. A humble retreat, check the box and complete to my core. Intrinsically, it's not for me, I can't do this. I knew this is how it would be. No fame, no fortune, no names on marquees, just running in place every day on repeat. This is the world I want to see, where everything's taken with no guarantees. No. Come on, man, pick your head up. Go back inside, half a life's learning to get up. How can I make you see that you have everything you need, and what you want to be is never out of reach? Fate deceives sometimes, but destiny's calling, so can't let the phone ring. You know there's no all-knowing. Go level up, no letdowns. Let the world in, push fear out. It's self-belief, it starts right now. When hell freezes, you lay down. Until then, it's your town, it's your story, it's your crown. Live in the clouds, feet on the ground. They stand still, you run around. Go mesmerize, where they socialize. There's dollar signs to be maximized. If you live it right, regret nothing. Loud applause, the sweetest sounding. This moment won't happen again, and never becomes forever unless you choose to begin. So see greatness in each step, and power in progress. Your future, yeah, that's limitless, it's infinite. Don't forget you want this.
Getting your business funded is a lengthy process with the banks, and it can take weeks before getting an answer. ProfitFX works with the best in the finance industry to bring you an unrivaled business funding solution for South African businesses. Our funding partners have funded millions in the last year in support of growing your business and our economy. Get in touch with your talk show host to request more information. A trade history of 3 years or more and an annual turnover of 1 million rand or more is required. Terms and conditions apply.
The champ is here! The champ is here!
Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Hobson, and we're actually doing the big day ahead. Now, for traders, it will be a bit confusing because of the Federal Reserve that we'll talk later on, but it's also important for you to tune in. Now, that is now at 8 o'clock tonight, South African time. Now, there's a few problems that stand in the way for Jerome Powell, but the bond yield says something, as I explained earlier. So the bond yield shows that there's optimism in spending in the United States. Now, there's also news that came out at that will come out at 3:30. That will be the retail sales of the United States. Excuse me. So that news will be out at about 3:30, and it shows that the forecast for this news, that is now for the month of October, the forecast is at 0.4%. The previous was at 1.9%. That is now the retail sales. Now, the biggest contributor for retail sales is actually the auto industry. So that shows a pickup of 0.5% and a 0.6%. That is a consensus. And the previous was at 1.5%. Now, that is the retail sales, the auto retail sales. Now, that takes about 20% off actually of the number of the retail sales number. Now, that will also play an effect of tonight's statement. Now, obviously, he knows what is the results. I'm sure he knows by now. So he will also talk about that. But the main thing is that the bond market is indicating that there is prosperity in the United States. That's why the bond yields are going up. So I think he will be a bit optimistic tonight with his statement. Well, there is negative stories also. For example, the elections in the United States, which he has nothing to do with that because he's an independent institution. And obviously, the guy is not sure will he have his job if Trump loses the elections. Now, we all know we are not sure what the hell is going on there. Trump was tweeting last night or yesterday, South African time, I think it was about 2 o'clock South African time, that he will win the elections, or he won the elections. Now, we are not sure what the hell is going on there. I hope there will be some clarity by the end of this day. But I think personally, Jerome Powell will be a bit optimistic tonight, because there is a bit of a push in the bond yields, especially if you look at the 10-year bond yield, that there is a bit of an upswing. So I think he will be positive tonight. On the other side, also, besides the US elections, there is the inflation debacle that's in front of him as well. Now, the inflation numbers of October shows that there's a bit of a decline. On the other side, the inflation expectations, which goes in line with the bond market, shows that there is a future inflation that will be coming in the United States. Now, that is good because it shows that there's things will go right in the United States. One, what I expect is, there is a bit of a mood for the stimulus package. Hopefully that this whole elections is out of the way. And on the other side, the job market in the United States pick up quite nicely. I mean, at some point it was in double digits. Now it's sitting on 6.9%, which is a remarkable achievement in the short space of time. So there is a bit of optimism that goes on. And also on the other side, now, if Joe Biden wins the elections, he's talking about a $7 trillion package that he will somehow create. Look, that is a bit nonsense. That is a bit far-fetched. Obviously, he will talk about the climate change and all of those things. Like, I don't buy that whole story of a $7 trillion stimulus package with America already or 20 million in debt, and he's going to add an additional 7 trillion. Now, that is a bit nonsense what he is talking about. It's the same as what happened in Barack Obama. I mean, the debt was at about 8 trillion, and when he finished office, it was sitting at 18 trillion. So obviously, they just know how to pile up debt. So I hope the guy don't win. But look, the whole thing is about the Federal Reserve tonight. So I think that he will be a bit upbeat. But obviously, he will get questions from what is the story about the United States government, which has nothing to do with him. But I think he will put in quite a bullish comment tonight. Now, what's going to happen if he talks more bullish about the U.S. economy? Now, if he's bullish tonight, then we will see that the dollar will actually go further down against all major currencies. That is now against the euro, the British pound. British pound's a bit up and down because they're expecting the Brexit deal that will be done next week. Look, I think the market is totally fed up about this whole Brexit nonsense. But they said they will have a deal by next week. So I will advise you to stay away from the British pound for now until this whole Brexit nonsense is out of the way. So the euro definitely will pick up. Other currencies like the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, obviously will pick up also against the Federal Reserve if he comes with a bullish statement, which I think he will, due to what I just said about the bond market and also about the stimulus. Look, whichever way the US elections will go, whether to Trump or whether to Joe Biden, there will be stimulus package. That I can guarantee you. So that is basically in the bag, and I think that's why the market is going up, because they know that the stimulus package will come. The other side, the job market looks actually very good in the United States. So with that, you will see an increase in the commodity prices. So there will be possibility of the oil prices that will go up, and I will go into detail later on about OPEC. But I think the prospect of a higher oil price we can expect tonight, not that he will say it, but his statement will go bullish. So if his statement is bullish, then normally your oil prices go up, or basically all commodities go up, US dollar goes down, normally your Dow Jones go up, possibility that the NASDAQ will go up, I think it will. And also your other equities across the world will also go up. The whole thing is that basically Jerome Powell is in charge tonight, because there is a government, but they are fighting. So the main person that literally is in charge of the United States, or who we can say we can listen to, or who the market will listen to, is actually Jerome Powell. That is how powerful this guy is now. Because I think 2 weeks ago, there was a minutes that was released. It was last month, where the minutes was released, and you could see how the market behaved. So I think we might see that same approach tonight, where the market will be bullish, the dollar will go down, or basically all your safe havens will go down, and I think your stock markets will go up. The bond yields will definitely go up. And I think also the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, that is my favorite. So that's why I always mention them. They will definitely go up against the US dollar, and also the euro. That will definitely go up as well. On the European stocks, I think obviously the DAX, the CAC will definitely go up. And also your Asian stocks looks also good to go up. Not just about Jerome Powell, but I think also about that deal that is being signed among the Asian countries. Now, that will be, I think, Jerome Powell's statement tonight. Will he talk about additional stimulus? I don't think it's needed for the U.S. economy right now. Maybe he will throw, I doubt he will do anything on additional stimulus for the United States, because he's just waiting now on who will be the president. But for the banking side, the banks looks perfectly fine. The economy looks in good shape in the United States. So I think he will be bullish tonight regarding the FOMC statement and the questions that will go with it. Now, I'm sure the journalists will push him actually to talk about what's going on in government, but I think he will just brush away that whole story, what's going on in government. Now, I will just take a short break, and then I'll be back with you with information about OPEC. Now, this story can be a bit complex, especially when it comes to the OPEC meeting. But I do expect that the OPEC guys will ask for another extension of the current plan that is actually going on. And I will explain what will be the impact of that. I will just take a short break. I will be back with you.
Look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty. Miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion. They're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers, while I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? 'Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping, and bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving, and life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level, taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could have run away, could have avoided the thorns, could have been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, because when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well. You didn't use lifelines, you're topped off for a lifetime, so drop all those one-liners. We'll get them next time. No, this time is your time, and whatever you decide will end up being real life. No stop signs, just storylines. This whole thing is a misunderstanding, a miscalculation. Jumped and missed the landing. I'm mystified, I can waste so much time. These ovations are strictly imagination, not standing. So much for planning, guess fate left without me. Those failure statistics, yeah, they'll be about me. Was overly optimistic, forgot the logistics. Guess we all learn sometime, don't we? Good is not good enough. No, how long do I stay down before I let go? I buried my pride and took it inside, but never enough. It takes a toll, it gets old getting told you've got miles of road left to go. You're alone with this future unknown. Just go home. Just go home, it's safe there. Yeah, I'll find some embrace there. Look, it's time to admit defeat. A humble retreat, check the box and complete to my core. Intrinsically, it's not for me, I can't do this. I knew this is how it would be. No fame, no fortune, no names on marquees. Just running in place every day on repeat. This is the world I wanna see, where everything's taken with no guarantees. No. Come on, man, pick your head off. Go back inside, half a life's learning to get up. How can I make you see that you have everything you need, and what you want to be is never out of reach? Fate deceives sometimes, but destiny's calling, so can't let the phone ring. You know there's no all-knowing. Go level up, no letdowns. Let the world in, push fear out. It's self-belief, it starts right now. When hell freezes, you lay down. But until then, it's your town, it's your story, it's your crown. Live in the clouds, feet on the ground. They stand still, you run around. Go mesmerize, or they socialize. There's dollar signs to be maximized. If you live it right, regret nothing. Loud applause, the sweetest sound, and this moment won't happen again, and never becomes forever unless you choose to begin. So see greatness in each step, and power in progress. Your future, yeah, that's limitless, it's infinite. Don't forget you want this.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. Capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.
The champ is here! 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 The champ.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Opson, and we're doing actually the big day ahead. Now, obviously, I did explain now the Federal Reserve story, and now we are talking about OPEC. Now, as we speak, there's an OPEC meeting that's currently happening with 11 members of the 13 members of OPEC. So they are discussing what's going to happen with the oil production. Now, there's also non-OPEC members, like, for example, Canada. I think is one of them. Canada is also part of the non-OPEC members, and also you have Russia. Now, it's just for the OPEC members that are actually now talking about the oil production. Will they keep the oil production as it is, or will they pump more oil out? Now, the demand is still not there for oil. Obviously, there's a lot of countries that are still, or I would say the more advanced economies are still under lockdown, and oil prices are hovering around between $39 and $41 now for the last few months. So, excuse me. So oil members, and also there's the expectations that obviously that the vaccine is on its way, and will they actually restart everything quickly? Because obviously the operation when it comes to producing oil, or I would say the maintenance of this whole entire industry, is quite a heavy story. So it's not something that you can just press and switch on and there everything goes. So a lot of these plants were not producing oil, and obviously they need now to restart everything if the demand is picking up. Now, as I said, there's some optimism now about the whole entire vaccine, and it's a possibility that we might see the first rollout in maybe in December or in January. And I think obviously OPEC members will be ready to actually push oil out. Now, that is now the big question: will they keep now the oil supply as it is, or will they start now to open up the tap for oil production? Now, there's some big stories that goes on with oil. Some say that some OPEC members are cheating, that there is actually more oil that's been produced, and the auditing of OPEC is also a bit of a problem, because obviously there was this whole COVID story and people couldn't travel, so some of the OPEC members did some cheating. Obviously, the one that they are blaming, it's actually Iraq. They said Iraq is the one that were cheating and pump more oil out actually at a higher price. So that was one of the stories. Now, I don't know how will Iraq take it, but well, that's nothing to do with me. Now, I think personally they will actually keep production as it is, but there's other OPEC members that are basically unhappy. Now, there's consequences with this. Obviously, if you produce less oil, then it means there's less jobs in your country, and that is obviously a problem, because the oil industries, or I would say most governments, are actually dependent, or I would say the OPEC governments are actually dependent from the oil industry. And obviously, if the oil price is low, it means that they need to produce less oil. And when they produce less oil, that means there is massive job losses in that particular industry. You can basically take everything from the United States, when the oil price were dropping vigorously to negative territory, and that actually caused a lot of oil drillers actually to lose their job, and obviously the oil industry in the United States took a huge knock. Now, the U.S. is not so dependent from its oil industry. They have I would say a variety of industries. That is now the fourth industrial revolution: manufacturing sector, oil industry, and also other industries that they're developing. So, but if you look at a country like, for example, Nigeria, Libya, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, and those, okay, not Iran. Iran is still under sanctions of the United States, but the other OPEC members, they are actually heavy dependent from this oil industry, and also very good for your tax collections. Now, Russia is a bit unhappy for keeping actually oil prices so low. Now, obviously, Russia is actually, I think, the third largest oil producer in the world. Obviously, now we all know that the United States is actually the largest oil producers. For a lot of people, it's a shock. But for me, it is not. It's been like that for quite some time now. Now, the United States is the biggest oil producer in the world. And I must say, if you look at the data, there's quite a lot of the oil industry guys that were closing their oil fields and that are actually back online again. If you look at the oil inventory for the last few weeks, it actually improved quite nicely in the United States, even though oil prices are actually at $40. Now, normally for the US need about a $50 a barrel oil to be profitable. But still, there is guys in the industry that are profitable even at $40 in the United States, at $40 a barrel. They are still profitable. So maybe the United States finds something, or they found something where they can produce oil for cheaper. You must remember, they are using technology to produce their oil. So they use mostly fracking. And that helps a lot with Pennsylvania and Texas. So somehow these guys found out a way to produce oil at a lower price, and all of them don't need about $50 a barrel. So they can still be profitable or break even at about $40 a barrel. So which is good for the United States. Now, for the other oil industries, for example, like Nigeria, Libya, Iraq, they need about $80 a barrel for oil, because the oil industry is basically helping their economy. The same applies to Russia. Russia needs actually a higher oil price. Now, that makes things a bit complex, because now with Russia complaining, Russia wants to pump more oil out, so they want to increase supply. The problem is if they increase supply, then you will see again $10 a barrel oil, or even I doubt we will see negative again, but we will definitely see oil prices go down. So that could be one hell of a problem, not just for us, but for all the oil producers across the world. Now, obviously for oil users like myself and many of you, that is actually a good thing if we get oil prices for cheap. But I think personally, the OPEC members will actually, for me, they will keep the oil price, or I would say the oil supply, of where it is now. But I think you will get people that will not actually like this whole idea, because the oil industry needs some oil, I would say. I will not say some oil, but it needs people to work. The governments are very dependent on these oil industries. And maybe some, like honestly speaking, a lot of politicians don't understand economics. If you pump more oil, you get actually a lower price. Now, they just want to pump oil, and that is the whole thing is that governments in most of these oil industries are actually in charge of these oil industries, and they don't understand supply and demand. That is where the big thing is. Also, the other problem is Iran. Obviously, Joe Biden was talking about it, and he was in favor of Iran, of actually taking away sanctions from Iran, which Donald Trump imposed. Now, there's a whole story regarding the Iran deal. Now, obviously, Trump put on sanctions on Iran because he was all in favor of Israel, because there was a threat of Iran making a ballistic missile that can shoot to Israel. And that's why Donald Trump put on sanctions on Iran, because of this missile. Now, on Obama terms and Joe Biden's terms, they didn't care of what actually Iran was developing. Now, obviously, some people say it's a hoax, and some people it's true. And for some people it's true. Now, there's quite a lot of evidence that said that Iran is busy building this missile. But I don't know if it's for Israel or is it just for personal use. I'm just not sure. Nobody's sure. But Donald Trump made it clear that he will enforce, or he did enforce, actually, the sanctions against them. Now, obviously, if Iran get a relief from sanctions, then obviously Iran's oil will come to the stream, and that will plunge, actually, oil prices down temporarily. I'm not saying that will be forever, but temporarily. So, for me personally, I think the OPEC members will try and negotiate to keep oil prices actually as it is. Now, there's also a winter period that is coming. Normally this time of the year, oil prices go up. because of the winter period in the northern hemisphere. When it's winter, the Western country, I would say the northern hemisphere countries, use more oil. Now that could be a bit of disruption in the cycle. The normal cycle is that oil prices go up from December until November because of the cold weather of the northern hemisphere. Now the whole COVID thing can disrupt this whole entire story. Because of COVID, people can't move freely, people don't go to work, people actually stay at home and work from home. So, but I think the cycle will be the same because of OPEC that will put the lid on supply. So I think oil prices will maybe go up today, maybe go to 42 or 43, maybe not today, maybe for the week, depending on what they are saying. If they say they will keep oil prices or oil supply of where it is now, then we can see actually oil prices go up. And also the Federal Reserve saying that they are bullish, then I think also that oil prices, that two phenomena can push oil prices and other commodities up. Now, Jerome Powell will definitely not do anything on the interest rates. He will just maybe talk about the bond yield and that the economy is on a good path. That's it. I think that he will do absolutely nothing with the interest rates. It's impossible to raise interest rates now in the United States because he's also far away from his mandate of average 2% inflation. Now, for tonight or for this day ahead, I think personally, the dollar will definitely get another beating today and tomorrow. The Dow will definitely go up. Commodities will go up. Australian dollar will go up. New Zealand dollar will go up. Canadian dollar will definitely go up because of OPEC and Jerome Powell. The NASDAQ on the other side, I think that one will be up and down, but I think it will also go up. But definitely the Dow Jones, the industrial stocks, will definitely go up, and obviously the S&P will go up due to Tesla's inclusion now in the S&P 500. So it's dollar down, equities up, commodities also up. So that is it from my side for today. I hope you guys enjoy today's show, and all the best with trading for tonight. Please don't forget to tune in for Jerome Powell's speech at 8 o'clock South African time. That's it from my side. I will see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Bye-bye.
The champ is here!